Make sure to subscribe to this channel for more videos like this.
Going here in America's Morning headquarters, getting you through the mid-morning hours and ready for the rest of this week and the weekend with our big storm. We're tracking Winter Storm Izzy.
That is right. The potential is there for snow accumulation. We're talking about some of that snow that could be heavy for some. There also, though, is the risk for the ice. That is the worst of all the precipitation types. That's a risk for us in parts of the south, along with some snow as well. We'll see that adding up. Of course, we got Dr. Greg Postel.
That storm earlier this week, you know, could that nudge any closer to the U.S.? Thankfully, it's not for us, but we have our own system that we are going to be dealing with. I want to take you into that. The beginnings of it will be felt starting tomorrow in the upper Midwest. So this is what the warnings are, where the warnings are up for Winter Storm Izzy. Winter storm warnings that are in the darkest blue. You can see that dig down all the way actually into parts of Iowa. And then we also have winter storm watches down across the state of Iowa, and I bet you some of those will be turned into winter storm warnings when you see what kind of totals we've got coming. So today, look, you know, free and clear, we're doing fine out there. All of the action is happening over the Pacific and now moving into the Northwest. So this is the upper level energy that we're tracking. Look at that thing out there, like a bowling ball coming in with all these little pops of energy within it. So that comes in, it actually goes up and over the ridge. This is the way it's going to have to travel, something like that. And so then we'll see a new surface low develop, and that will become the weather maker that we track. So watching that, here we go. There's the energy diving south here later today into tomorrow, and then we'll see things really get going as we get throughout the day tomorrow. Now here, we're starting the clock tonight at 5 o'clock. And then tomorrow morning is when you start to see that snow really take shape over North and South Dakota, Minnesota, into Iowa. There'll be some areas that start with some rain or even some freezing rain or sleet before you change over to snow. In Kansas City, one of those spots we're watching, and we see that continuing Friday afternoon into the overnight. On Saturday, here we go, Saturday morning, and now it's sinking south into parts of southern Missouri and Arkansas and western Kentucky and Tennessee. And that's another area, actually, that could get a little more significant in terms of snowfall amounts. Snow totals, the colors aren't showing up, but let me tell you, we have an area of 8 to 12 inches from western Minnesota into Iowa, and that will certainly be a big impact because of the timing will be on Friday afternoon when you are trying to travel. So hopefully you can plan now to stay home. Alex.
Absolutely. Good advice for the northern plains, Midwest, down to the south, then into the Northeast. Huge area.
Yeah, and so we're talking about the Dakotas, but then down through western Minnesota into Iowa. We've got some decent snow. This thing keeps going through Missouri, and actually southern Missouri and northern Arkansas. That could be an interesting spot.
Yeah, that could be a zone to absolutely keep an eye on, for sure.
Yeah, all right, well, let me talk about the Midwest here, because we are going to start with it there, and it actually starts later tonight, as we do see this system diving from the Pacific Northwest up over the ridge, and then coming down here across the northern plains and upper Midwest. So the winter storm warning's already posted in North Dakota, and then down through Minnesota, a little bit into Iowa right now. Still a watch for now, but let me tell you today, in places like Des Moines, it's going to be mild. Temps go up into the 40s, maybe even to the 50s in a few areas, but we are likely to get under at least a winter weather advisory, but probably a winter storm warning as we see the system come in tomorrow. So here's where we are right now. Looks great, right? Nothing happening out there on the radar. But what we're going to find is that things change a lot. The high clouds start coming in. Here's our system that we see out there across the Pacific Northwest. We've been tracking this for days. And this is the thing, and my sleeve, I think, keeps getting that. But I want to circle this so you can see all the little pops of energy that we have within that thing. That is what's going to go up and over the ridge. See, that's going to help our surface low develop, and what's going to drive this whole weather maker that starts tomorrow in the Midwest and then continues through the weekend in the Southeast, and then next week in the Northeast. So here we go tomorrow, what morning? And this is about 3 or 4 o'clock. We start to see the snow developing throughout the day in Iowa. In fact, the snow really gets heaviest, and watching for that band of higher snowfall rates into the afternoon. And then you'll see some of us, like Kansas City, starting with some rain, and maybe even spending some time in freezing rain or sleet before we change over to snow. And then watching an area down here in the southern Missouri, and then even western Kentucky, watching western parts of Tennessee too, where we could get some significant snow out of this version of the storm. Now, For some reason, these numbers, background colors aren't showing up, but I can tell you we have a swath of 8 to 12 inches of snow through western Minnesota, jumping down into parts of Iowa. And here's a closer view of that. Sioux Falls, we're in that 3 to 5 inch range. Sioux City, more on the 3 side. Omaha, more on the 3 or 4 inch side of things. But look at Fort Dodge. We've got 8 or 9, maybe even 10 inches of snowfall coming our way. Sioux Falls, let's time it out. And this is really important just because of the timing of the heaviest snowfall rates. When you get into these bigger snowfall rates, this happens Friday morning between about 9 and noon, and that's when the roads will quickly become snow covered. You know, even if they're out plowing, and they will be, it's just hard to keep up when the rates pick up. Alex, that's also a concern in the south too, getting ready for it.
Yeah,